Do you also share the view that should there be a special Congress, it may very well likely work in favor of the suspended General Secretary of Cosatu, Zwelinzima Vavi?
There is such a possibility, but remember that the balance of forces will be highly contested going to the conference. And indeed, it will have a very negative effect on the alliance itself, because it immediately takes away Cosatu from helping the ANC campaign for elections next year. And secondly, it could reach a point where the winner takes all, in which case those who lose may find themselves in the margins or even perished.
All along there was obviously a belief that there is this great push to garner support for Zwelinzima Vavi, and thus the bid to go to court to resolve the matter. But now you have these 8 affiliates who are pushing for a special meeting, who are actually saying that they want to see him formally charged. Does that then change the balance of forces or perception about the balance of forces in terms of his support?
Well, I do know that it has always been the case that within the CEC, the majority was calling for him to be charged, and also for sanctions against his political stance, which they perceive to be at variance with that one of Cosatu. But at the same time, those supporting Vavi realize that their fighting chance would be in calling for a Congress, in which case not just the charges against Vavi, but generally the divisions that seemingly have been occurring over time would be debated, as well as the relationship between Cosatu and the ANC and government.
Now let's talk about resolving these issues once and for all. Should there be a special Congress? There is a view that you can't just deal with the Zwelinzima Vavi issue, as you just mentioned, but also deal with the root causes of what is plaguing Cosatu. You yourself compiled a report at the Congress last year outlining what the challenges are for Cosatu. Can you just go through those again and just tell us, has anything been done to deal with those?
The first challenge with Cosatu is the fact that since 2009, a delayed recession came upon the country, and the workers are the ones who felt the strain, and there's been a rise in cost of living. Therefore, their demands increased at the time when government resources were decreasing in terms of being able to deal with some of the challenges, even in the private sector. So that immediately creates tension between the government, which is one of the major employers of public sector workers, and the workers. Similarly, the tension between the workers and the corporate or the private sector. Therefore, one of the challenges that Cosatu was facing is the right formula and balance between servicing its constituency of workers and servicing its relationship with the ANC and government. And when one of the things that are coming out now is the fact that one section of the workers to be co-opted by government and therefore less vocal about workers' issues, and the other one is perceived to be oppositionist within the alliance to a point where they are more critical of government in trying to pursue some of the constituency issues.
What would need to happen for there to be a sense that Cosatu is tackling the more fundamental differences within members of the federation?
Well, I do think that they should first recognize that the main challenge they are facing is not technical or legal. Now, for that matter, even the side issues of sexual, the main problem is different and clashing perspectives on what Cosatu role should be within the broader alliance. And the second one is the social distance that may be emerging between some of the shop stewards or union leaders and their constituencies. So if they sit down and try to resolve those issues and develop a protocol on how to relate with the ANC and the government, they will have gone a long way. But also that must start with an admission that there is a problem and that there are divisions. But if one does not admit that this is the case, you're most likely going to see, the parties growing apart.